Hello everyone, Adam here from NoobFeed.com, and today I'm talking about Wartech Fighters. As always, if you want to read my full written review, there will be a link in the description below. Wartech Fighters is about repelling the Zothros Empire, who have been expanding into territories owned by independent colonies. The protagonist, Nathan, is attempting to force them back using his own giant robot called a Wartech. But the story is mostly forgettable. It's the combat that really causes Wartech Fighters to really shine. Inspired by Japanese animes such as Gundam, the battles in Wartech Fighters all focus on giant robots, with the player constantly fending off hordes of enemies while performing minor objectives, occasionally hacking, gathering resources, and destroying key points. Predominantly, the game does focus on combat and customization. You'll gather resources during missions and are rewarded with more items based on your performance, and use said items to upgrade your Wartech. There are plenty of ways to upgrade your robot, and the cosmetic customizations are pretty large, but expect to get lost in the menus. It took me a good 15 minutes to get used to where everything was, such as how the upgrades work, researching new items, and of course the challenges, which are hidden in the far left section of the menu. So before you start getting into the missions, I would recommend that you familiarize yourself with the menu system. Combat is simple enough. You have a machine gun, heavy gun, missile launcher, sword, and shield. The sword and shield only are used when engaged in one-on-one combat against other Wartech fighters. It also shifts the perspective from behind the robot to more on the side so you can see the other robot attack you. Most of the time you'll be flying around and shooting various enemies that increase in difficulty and variety as you progress. Much of the strategy of combat comes from managing the energy meter, which governs your boost and weapon ammunition. You can recover this by not using said functions, or by performing a cinematic kill on a weakened enemy, all while hard rock just blasts into your ears, simulating this fast-paced action. While the enemy and customization variety is very high, Wartech's weakest element is the level design. Many of the environments feel similar with the exception of some changes in the color palette, and very little is done to make them feel distinct. There are small environmental hazards such as remaining at high altitude when close to a planet, but for the most part nothing really changes. In addition, objectives tend to repeat themselves. You'll always be hacking, destroying a set amount of enemies, and eliminating signal transmitters in some way. Because of this, the gameplay tends to get very repetitive very quickly. Wartech Fighters isn't about having an engaging story, and the characters are very forgettable, but it excels at providing the player ample control over designing their own giant robot. The combat is done exceptionally well, but it does lack the speed found in other giant robot games such as Zone of the Enders or Strike Suit Zero. However, it does do a great job of simulating high intense combat action within the realm of possibility. It is done well, just don't expect an elaborate story when you dive into Wartech Fighters. Anyway, there's my impression. If you want to read a full in-depth review, it'll be in the link below. Also, it is available for half off right now on PC, Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and yes, it's on Steam for PC. So you can pick this game up at a discounted price, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for something just to enjoy or to scratch that giant robot itch you're probably having.